It was well past midnight when the city began to drown in rain. Street lights blurred behind sheets of water, and thunder rolled softly in the distance, as if the night itself sensed something terrible was about to happen. An ambulance cut through the silence, sirens screaming, tires splashing through flooded roads. Inside, a woman lay motionless on a stretcher, Olivia Hart. To the world, she was a legend, a ruthless CEO, the youngest self-made billionaire in the state. A woman who never broke, never bent, never showed fear. But tonight, fear had found her. Her designer dress was torn, soaked in rain and blood. Her breathing was shallow, uneven. Every movement sent waves of pain through her body, stealing her strength piece by piece. As the ambulance doors burst open, cold air rushed in. Bright hospital lights stabbed at her eyes. Machines beeped faster. She reached out, gripping the nurse's hand with what little strength she had left. Her voice trembled. "Please, just make it fast," she whispered. "I don't want the pain." The gurney rolled toward the emergency entrance, and with it, Olivia was carried into the one place she feared more than death itself. Inside the emergency room, chaos moved with frightening speed. Nurses shouted vitals. Monitors beeped. Footsteps echoed against sterile floors. But one thing was missing. No doctor had arrived yet. Time stretched dangerously thin. Then, through the noise and confusion, a man ran in. Not wearing scrubs. Not carrying medical charts. An old security jacket hung loosely on his shoulders. His boots were scuffed. His face calm. He didn't hesitate. He removed his jacket and gently placed it over Olivia's shaking body, shielding her from the cold. His voice was low, steady, grounded. "You're going to be okay," he said. "I promise." As he held her hand, the overhead lights caught something on his wrist. A tattoo. Numbers. Military medic markings. Olivia's eyes widened slightly. This wasn't just a guard. This was someone who had seen death and refused to let it win. His name was Ethan Ward, 38 years old, single father, night shift security guard at St. Haven Hospital. Every night, the same routine. Clock in at 10. Check the doors. Walk the halls. Make sure everyone made it through the night. Most people never noticed him. To them, he was just background noise. The man who held doors open. The man who pushed wheelchairs. The man who brought water when nurses were overwhelmed. But before this life, Ethan had been something else. A combat médic. 3 tours. Countless lives saved under fire. He had run toward explosions while others ran away. Then, 5 years ago, everything changed. His wife died in a car accident. One moment his world existed. The next it was gone. He left the military, took the quietest job he could find, one that let him be close to his daughter. Grace, 8 years old, 3rd grade. She spent her nights in the hospital cafeteria doing homework, drawing hearts and stars, waiting for her dad's shift to end. Ethan never talked about his past. Heroes harelido. Back in the emergency room, Olivia's condition worsened. Her blood pressure dropped. Her breathing grew shallow. A nurse's voice shook. "The doctor's stuck in traffic. We don't have time." Ethan stepped forward instantly. "Let me help." The nurse hesitated. "You're just." "I know what I'm doing," he said firmly. "Trust me." Years of training surged back like muscle memory. He checked her pulse, her airway, applied pressure where it mattered. Olivia's eyes fluttered open. Fear filled them. "Please," she whispered. "I don't want to die." Ethan locked eyes with her, the same way he once looked at wounded soldiers on battlefields. "Not tonight," he said. "You're going to see the sunrise." Something in his voice cut through her panic. She believed him. 7 minutes later, the doctor arrived. Olivia was stable, saved. As the medical team took over, Ethan stepped back quietly. No relief, no celebration, just another life saved. Olivia turned her head slightly, searching the room. Their eyes met one last time. "Thank you," she mouthed. Ethan nodded. Then he disappeared into the hallway shadows, back to being invisible. In the cafeteria, Grace looked up from her coloring book. "Dad, look, I drew you as a superhero." Ethan smiled softly, ruffling her hair. "It's perfect, sweetheart. Let's go home." He never mentioned Olivia, never mentioned the night, because heroes don't wait for recognition. They just keep going. Morning light poured softly through the tall windows of the private hospital room. The storm was gone. The rain had washed the night clean. Olivia Hart slowly opened her eyes. For a moment, she didn't know where she was. Her body ached. Her head throbbed. Then the memories came rushing back. The crash. The pain. The voice that refused to let her give up. You're going to see the sunrise. She turned her head toward the window. There it was. Golden. Quiet. Real. Alive. A nurse entered the room, checking monitors. You're lucky, she said gently. If you'd arrived even 10 minutes later. Olivia swallowed hard. Last night, she whispered. The man who helped me. Where is he? The nurse smiled. Oh, Ethan? Security. Night shift. He kept you stable till the doctor arrived. Security. Olivia stared at the ceiling. A security guard had saved her life. Later that morning, the room filled with business again. Assistants. Phones. Tablets. Schedules. Marcus, her executive assistant, spoke quickly. The board is worried. Media already knows about the crash. Olivia sat up slowly, wincing. Tell them I'm fine. They're asking who saved you. Marcus added carefully. Olivia hesitated. Images flashed in her mind. Oil-stained boots. Calm eyes. A steady hand holding hers. No names, she said sharply. No stories. Marcus nodded. Walls went back up. Armor locked in place. Because gratitude felt dangerous. And owing someone felt worse. That evening, Ethan returned for another shift. Same uniform. Same routine. As he passed the elevator, a nurse stopped him. Miss Hart was asking about you. Ethan paused. Is she okay? She's doing great. You should say hi. He shook his head. She doesn't need that. But fate didn't ask permission. The elevator doors opened. Olivia stood there, leaning slightly on a crutch. Their eyes met. Time slowed. You're Ethan, she said. Yes, ma'am. She hesitated. I wanted to thank you for last night. Just doing my job. Marcus stepped in quickly. It's better if this doesn't become a story. Olivia's face hardened. I'd prefer if you kept what happened between us, she said coldly. I don't like owing people. Ethan looked at her, really looked at her. Then don't, he replied quietly. Just live better. He turned and walked away. And for the first time in years, Olivia felt small. That night, Grace ran toward Ethan in the cafeteria. Dad, guess what? He knelt down. What is it, kiddo? My school got donated a whole new computer lab. She beamed. My teacher said it came from Hart Tech. Ethan froze for a moment. Through the glass doors, he saw a black luxury car pulling away. Olivia sat inside. Grace tugged his sleeve. Dad, do you think she's a good person? Ethan watched the car disappear. I think, he said softly, she pays her debts differently. Grace frowned. I think saying thank you matters. Ethan smiled. You're wiser than most adults. 1 month later, St. Haven Hospital glittered with lights. The annual charity gala had begun. Politicians, doctors, donors. Ethan stood at the back wall, invisible as always. Then chaos struck. A man collapsed. Panic erupted. Before anyone could react, Ethan moved. Kneeling. Checking pulse. Starting compressions. 30. 2 breaths. Again. The man gasped. Life returned. Applause filled the room. And on the stage, Olivia Hart stared in shock. She finally saw him. Not a guard. Not background. A healer. A hero. And this time, she couldn't look away. The gala continued, but Olivia Hart couldn't hear a single word anymore. Applause echoed around her, yet her eyes remained locked on one man. Ethan Ward. The way he moved. The precision. The calm. She had seen that posture before. Not in boardrooms, not in press conferences, but in soldiers. In survivors. As paramedics wheeled the elderly man away, alive and breathing, the room slowly settled. Ethan wiped his hands, adjusted his jacket, and stepped back into the shadows. Invisible again, but Olivia's mind was racing. That night, he hadn't been lucky. He'd been trained, and she had dismissed him. The next morning, Olivia sat in a quiet conference room at the hospital. A personnel file lay open in front of her. Ethan Ward. Age, 38. Position, night security. Her eyes moved down the page. Former combat medic. 3 tours. Silver Cross for Valor. Purple Heart. Her breath caught. Attached photos showed a younger Ethan in uniform. Eyes sharper, heavier with responsibility. Another page revealed a newspaper clipping. Medic saves 23 soldiers under enemy fire. Her hands trembled as she reached the last line. Emergency contact. Grace Ward, daughter, age 8. Olivia closed the file slowly. The man she told to stay invisible had carried entire lives on his shoulders, and she had looked right through him. The press conference was unplanned. No script, no circunstancias. Cameras flashed as Olivia stepped to the podium. I almost died, she said quietly. The room fell silent. The person who saved me wasn't a doctor, wasn't a surgeon, wasn't famous. She paused. He was a single father working night security. Murmurs spread. His name is Ethan Ward. At that exact moment, in the hospital cafeteria, Ethan sat beside Grace, helping her with math homework. The TV flickered on, and suddenly, his face filled the screen. Grace gasped. Dad, that's you. Ethan froze. On screen, Olivia continued, voice cracking. I was wrong. I judged him by his title, not his character. I won't make that mistake again. I owe my life to Ethan Ward, Olivia said into the cameras. And I tried to silence him. Her eyes filled with tears. He reminded me that leadership isn't power, it's service. In the cafeteria, people stared at Ethan. Some clapped. Others whispered. Grace hugged him tightly. You're a hero, she whispered. Ethan swallowed hard. He never wanted this spotlight. But maybe the world needed to see what real strength looked like. On screen, Olivia looked directly into the camera. I'm sorry. Ethan exhaled slowly. Some wounds don't disappear, but some finally begin to heal. Job offers flooded in. Private firms. High salaries. Big titles. Ethan declined them all. Except one. Heart Foundation offered him a role. Medical preparedness advisor. Flexible hours. Stability. Time for Grace. Days later, Olivia visited the security office. No cameras. No assistants. Just 2 people. I'm sorry, she said quietly. Not as a CEO, but as a human. Ethan nodded. That's enough. For the first time, Olivia felt something unfamiliar. Peace. Weeks later, Olivia visited the hospital's community park. She heard laughter. Grace was on the swings. Another child had fallen, scraped knee, tears forming. Grace rushed over, pulled out a bandage, applied it carefully. There, she said. All better. Olivia watched stunned. Helping was in their blood. Grace looked up. Dad says helping people is our family business. Olivia smiled through tears. Maybe legacies weren't built in boardrooms. Maybe they were built right here. That evening, Ethan found an envelope under his office door. Inside, a handwritten letter. You saved me twice, it read. Once from death, once from myself. I'm trying to be better because of you. Ethan folded the letter carefully. Some people arrive like storms, others like sunrise. He wasn't sure which one Olivia was, but for the first time in years, he looked forward to finding out. 1 year later, the city gathered for an opening. The Ward Center for Community Healing, free healthcare, mental health services, veteran support, everything Ethan never dreamed possible. Olivia stood at the podium. The man who saved me taught me that healing belongs to everyone. She turned. Ethan Ward. Grace pushed him forward. The crowd stood, applauded. Olivia opened a small wooden box. Inside, a custom medal, engraved with words. Please don't make it fast. Stay. She pinned it gently to Ethan's chest. You gave me my sunrises back. Ethan's voice was quiet. Some pain is worth feeling. Grace held up a drawing. Her dad, a woman, a glowing heart between them. The crowd melted.